Y'all, today, y'all, we finna do another reaction, y'all. I know y'all read the title, man. By the title of this, man, this is sad. Always, you know what I'm saying, put God first, because you never know when it's your last day.
That even in her last moments, she was strong.
He shot her like she was a dog. And I wouldn't even do that to a dog.
In the late hours of October 6, 2021, 25-year-old pregnant Kavana Smith was found dead after announcing her pregnancy at around 7:15 p.m. Houston police responded to a report of a shooting on Reed Street near Irvington, located on Houston's north side. When they got to the scene, they found the body of 4-month pregnant Kavana. Upon closer inspection, she had suffered a gunshot wound. Kavana had gone to her boyfriend's place to share the good news when she was kidnapped and put in the trunk of a vehicle.
What?
What was meant to be a fresh start quickly turned into a nightmare. Kavana was tragically killed not by a stranger, but by the father of her unborn child.
Wow.
But it was what was discovered next that no one truly expected. This is the life and tragic death of Kavana Smith.
That's sad, man.
I am that which is born of all that is. I am, as Pierre de Chardin said, a spiritual being having a human experience. Come trailing the breath of the ancestors yet, but trailing the breath of the angels. And understanding that because I am connected to the source of all that is possible for me. And what do I want? I don't want to just be successful in the world. I don't want to just make a mark or have a legacy. The answer to that question for me is I want to fulfill the highest, truest expression.
25-year-old Kavana Shakoria Smith was born on July 23, 1996, and raised in Houston, Texas. She grew up surrounded by love from her parents, Benita and Glenn Jackson, and her 5 siblings. Later in life, she was adopted by Patricia Howard Crockett, who continued to support and nurture her. She attended Barbara Jordan High School, according to her social media. From an early age, Kavana stood out, not just for her radiant smile and warm personality, but also for her determination to live a meaningful life. She had a spark that drew people in and a purpose that guided her every step. Kavana had a natural love for children. Whether helping with her younger siblings or caring for kids in her community, she found joy in teaching and nurturing. Her gentle patience and caring spirit made her a...
Like, I don't understand, bro. Why would he do something like that? That's being a coward, bro. Like, for real. Like, this is really sad, man. Say, watch who you around, man. Watch who you be with, for real.
Favorite among little ones, revealing her gift for uplifting others. Her kindness and generous heart left a lasting impact on everyone she met. Kavana was known for lifting others up, sharing encouragement, and spreading joy wherever she went. Those who knew her described her as kind, thoughtful, and full of life. A comforting presence who made people feel safe, seen, and valued. The impact she had on those around her was clear from the overwhelming number of people who came to honor her at her funeral. As the middle child of a big family, Kavana was often joked about as having middle child syndrome by her siblings.
She did. She was also the middle child, so she had a little bit of that middle child syndrome.
But those close to her knew that being in the middle gave her a special role. The peacemaker, the listener, and the one who made sure everyone felt loved. Kavana's heart was big, her compassion ran deep, and her love for her family and friends never wavered. She was known for her bright energy and joyful spirit. Her younger sister often said that Kavana had a zest for life, whether it was offering kind words, lending a helping hand, or simply being there to listen. Kavana always showed up for the people she loved. At a young age, Kavana gave her life to Christ and was baptized at Faith Missionary Baptist Church. Her spiritual journey began early and remained a constant presence throughout her life. Kavana's commitment to her faith was visible to everyone who knew her. She frequently shared Bible verses, spiritual reflections, and words of encouragement on social media. After graduating from high school, Giovanna began working as a customer service associate at Walmart, where her friendly nature made her a favorite among coworkers and customers alike. Later in 2014, she moved and began a new role as a corporate service representative at Domino's Pizza. That same year, Giovanna took a bold step toward her future by enrolling in Sam Houston State University to study criminal justice. She was passionate about helping others and believed strongly in fairness and justice. Her hard work paid off when she proudly graduated on May 10, 2018, a day her family will always remember as a moment of triumph and pride. Giovanna had an undeniable enthusiasm for life. She was bold, outspoken, and full of energy. Friends and family fondly remembered how she was never afraid to share her thoughts and stand up for what she believed in. Her confidence and charm drew people in, and it was that same irresistible presence that eventually led her to someone who would change the course of her life in ways no one could have foreseen. While studying at Sam Houston State University, Giovanna met Wesley Smith. He was a young man who at first seemed to match her energy and ambition. As they spent more time together, their connection began to deepen. They had long conversations about their goals, dreams, and the kind of life they hoped to build. Wesley came across as thoughtful, attentive, and genuinely supportive. To Giovanna, he seemed like someone she could grow with. So on October 28, 2017, after dating for a while, Giovanna and Wesley got married. Like any newlyweds, they faced the challenges that came with building a life together. One looked strong from the outside, full of love, laughter, and shared dreams. That was until everything began to slowly unravel. Over time, Giovanna stopped posting about Wesley. While it's unclear whether the couple separated or officially divorced, one thing remained certain. Giovanna had always dreamed of becoming a mother. She often shared that desire on social media, posting heartfelt messages about her hopes for a child like this one. So it came as no surprise when she became a teacher. When Giovanna began working at a school, it felt like a natural step, one that reflected her deep love for children. At the school, she poured her heart into her work, showing patience, kindness, and genuine care for each child she encountered. It wasn't long before she started seeing someone, but what began as a fresh start would soon turn into her worst mistake. At some point, Giovanna met 25-year-old Quanmaine Travion Boyd. While it's unclear exactly when their relationship began, people close to Giovanna noticed a shift in her life. Quanmaine didn't seem to have any clear goals or direction. He wasn't pursuing a stable career or education, and many questioned what he truly brought into Giovanna's life. Still, fate had other plans. Despite that, by the end of September 2021, Giovanna
She got with the wrong man. That man ain't had nothing going for himself. You know what I'm saying? He was carrying himself the wrong way, and he decided to do this. That's why I say y'all watch the relationships y'all get in, for real. Make sure they got some type of goals, you know what I'm saying? Make sure they got something going for themselves. You know what I'm saying? Because, man, this is sad, man. She didn't deserve that, bro. Nobody deserves that. Nobody deserves that, bro.
learned that she was pregnant. For someone who had always dreamed of becoming a mother, the news was both emotional and life-changing. Giovanna had often spoken about wanting a child, and now that moment had arrived. She was determined to give her baby a loving, stable life, no matter the circumstances surrounding the father. On October 5th, after finding out she was pregnant, Giovanna brought her sister along to an ultrasound appointment. That day, they learned she was 4 weeks pregnant. According to her sister, Giovanna was both anxious and overjoyed.
We were happy. We were happy to be there.
But the joy of that moment would be short-lived. Excited, Giovanna shared the news with Quanmaine, hoping he'd share in her happiness, but instead of celebrating, his reaction was cold and unexpected. Changed immediately. Rather than showing support, he reportedly seemed upset and told her he didn't want any more children. Quanmaine didn't have a steady job or any real source of income. On top of that, he was already responsible for $250 a month in child support payments for his 4 children, all under the age of 5.
Now you locked up for life. Like, that don't make sense, bro. Now you locked up for life.
With that kind of financial pressure, the news of Kavana's pregnancy only added more tension. The next day, on October 6th, around 6 p.m., Kavana went to meet Kwon Main to collect some money he owed her. Before going, she seemed nervous. After arriving at his place, she sent multiple texts to her family,
That is
expressing
sad.
that she felt uneasy and feared something
That is
might
sad,
go wrong.
And she said, I'm going to get my money. If anything happens to me, this is where I'm at.
But what
Wow.
happened next would set off a chain of events no one would imagine. At 6:42 p.m.,
Wow.
she shared her GPS location. However, after a few hours had passed, her family stayed in touch with one another, growing more anxious by the minute.
That's
None of
sad,
them
bro.
had heard from Kavana. What began as a routine meeting was turning into something far more alarming. No one could have predicted what would happen next. Around 6:45 p.m., Kavana sent another text message to her sister, but this one was terrifying. She
That's
revealed that
sad.
she had been kidnapped and was locked in the trunk of Kwon Main's car. The shock of her words left her sister
Wow.
frozen in disbelief. Kavana then managed to send one final text to a close friend saying, "He got my money and doesn't want to give it to me." It was clear she was scared and in serious danger. Right after dropping her location, Kavana reported trying calling the same friend. The friend answered, but said the call was muffled. They couldn't make out much of what was being said. Moments later, the call dropped. Thinking it might have been a pocket dial, the friend didn't realize the urgency of the situation. Meanwhile, her family was already in a panic.
Her vehicle, along with all of her personal belongings, purse, keys to the car. Like something's wrong.
As they desperately tried to reach her, their calls went straight to voicemail. Their worst fears were coming to pass, and time was running out. At around 7:15 p.m., Houston police responded to a report of a shooting on Reed Street near
Wow.
Irvington, located on Houston's north side. When officers arrived at the scene, they were met with a heart-breaking discovery. There, lying in the street, was the body of 25-year-old Kavana Smith.
Wow.
She had been shot and was pronounced dead at the scene.
That's
Kavana
sad.
Smith's family, who says she had her own apartment, her own job, and a huge support system.
She had goals. She was doing the right thing, bro. She just chose the wrong person. And you could tell in his pictures, bro, he ain't have no remorse at all. You could just tell he didn't. The way he looked in them mug shots, that man ain't had no remorse, bro. You could just tell.
She was fine raising that child on her own, even though he was unhappy. They're trying to understand how a pregnancy would turn into a murder.
Right.
Earlier, after Kavana had sent her GPS location, her family rushed to the address in desperation.
Man.
When they arrived at Kwon Main Boyd's driveway, they saw Kavana's car parked outside. All of her belongings, including her purse and car keys,
Man.
were still inside, untouched. Something clearly wasn't right. Moments later, they received the devastating confirmation that Kavana had been found dead.
Man.
The grief was immediate and overwhelming. With the critical information shared by Kavana's family, including her text messages, GPS location, and frantic attempts to get help, investigators quickly turned their attention to Kwon Main's apartment. Inside, they discovered several deeply personal items linked to Kavana and her pregnancy. Among them were 2 positive pregnancy tests, an ultrasound dated October 5th with
That's
her name
sad,
on it,
bro.
and a greeting card she had written to Kwon Main, announcing that they were expecting. The message inside read, "Kwon, I know this isn't what we expected, but we are expecting." The investigators also found a firearm, 124 grain ammunition, and 5.56 by 45 millimeter
Man, that
rounds.
made me mad, bro. That makes me so mad, bro. For real, bro. Like, why would you even? That woman ain't do nothing to you.
These matched the type of bullets recovered from the scene where Kavana was killed. According to the arrest warrant issued for Kwon Main, the receipt had been tucked into the drawer of a nightstand in Kwon Main's bedroom, directly linking the purchase to him. Neighborhood later came forward with critical information. Several said they saw Kavana and a man, now believed to be Kwon Main, arguing not far from his home. One resident told detectives she witnessed the man pull out a gun and
Wow.
shoot Kavana.
Wow.
She recalled seeing Kavana collapse to the ground just after 7 p.m. The man then calmly walked away and got into a white pickup truck before fleeing the scene. A few days after Kavanagh's murder and Quanmaine Boyd's disappearance, police located a white pickup truck believed to be his. It was found parked in the driveway of an abandoned home in southeast Houston. Although the discovery gave investigators a potential lead, Quanmaine was nowhere to be found.
Houston police found 25-year-old Kavana Smith shot to death in the middle of Reed Street, reportedly a few miles from Boyd's apartment. This month, a judge signed off on a capital murder warrant for his arrest.
The race to catch a suspected killer.
Yeah, 25-year-old Quanmaine Boyd is accused of gunning down his pregnant girlfriend in the middle of a Houston street. And tonight, the family of Kavana Smith is desperate for your help. Her sister telling Melissa Correa an arrest may bring some closure.
But the search would soon take a dramatic turn. Weeks passed with no sign of him until November, when authorities finally made a breakthrough. On November 25th, 25-year-old Quanmaine Boyd was arrested and charged with the capital murder of Kavana Smith. According to officials, capital murder is a felony charge that carries the most severe penalties under Texas law, either life in prison without the possibility of parole or the death penalty. Boyd was booked into Harris County Jail, where he is being held without bond. His arrest brought a sense of relief to Kavana's grieving family and community, though the pain of her loss remains deeply felt.
She was my daughter. She was a wonderful person. She did not deserve what happened to her. And my main concern now is that justice will be served.
Kavana's family shared how truly blessed they feel to have had her in their lives. She touched so many people with her warmth, kindness, and love. Now, those same friends and family members are left heartbroken by her sudden and tragic loss as they mourn.
The day I found out that my sister was no longer here, it felt like the earth opened up and tried to swallow me whole. Grief sucks.
They continue to seek answers and justice. Although the pregnancy wasn't planned, Kavana was excited about becoming a mother. Her family believes she would have embraced motherhood with the same love and energy she gave to everyone around her. They said Kavana had a strong support system and the love of her family to help her through. The pain of Kavana's absence is felt deeply, but her memory lives on in the hearts of those who loved her most. The tragic loss of Kavana Smith is a painful reminder that violence can lurk where we least expect it.
Like I said, man, make sure y'all, before y'all do, hit that like button and subscribe button, y'all. And I'll catch y'all next video.